Hi, Nathan.
Hi, Jaden.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome to the pod. Today I'm chatting with Nathan Levy. Nathan made his Broadway debut in German Hanson, and since then has been in three Broadway shows, including Once Upon a One More Time, Aladdin, and now is starting Aunt Juliet on November 19th. Welcome to the pod. I can't wait to
Thank,
chat.
thank you. Thanks for having me.
So you've been in like really iconic Broadway shows.
I've been very, very lucky. It's like stupid, crazy.
Well, ninth grade me is like freaking out because I was the biggest Dear Evan Hansen fan growing up and
Oh,
crazy.
oh my God, same.
Really?
Same.
You like almost like manifested it for yourself.
For real. I mean, that show came out my senior year of high school, and I'm from Orange County, Southern California, so I was far away from New York. And like, I saw that show, fifth preview, when I visited New York, and I was just like, oh my God, this is what I have to do. And then I guess 3 years later, 3-ish years later is when I joined.
So crazy how life works. So crazy. Oh
Great.
my God. So how did your whole theater journey start? You mentioned you were from California. Did you like see a lot of tours growing up? Tell me your whole story.
Yeah, so my older brother is also an actor, and so I saw him doing community theater shows there, like Hello Dolly and Bye Bye Birdie and all. And my first time seeing a professional was the Wicked at the Pantages, and that was with Eden and Megan Hilty. It was like
Oh, that's like an iconic cast.
yes, like every like California theater kid, like that was their first thing. And so I saw that, and yeah, and then I went to an arts high school in Orange County called Orange County School of the Arts, OSHA.
Wait, is that the same high school that Stephanie J. Block went to?
It is the same high school. There's a Krista Rodriguez, Lindsay Mendez, Stephanie, Matthew Morrison, like all these crazy alumni.
Did they ever like come back and like see the shows or teach master classes throughout?
Totally. They would do concert performances and master classes all the time. Lindsay Mendez and Krista Rodriguez and Susan Egan, also an alumni.
So
They would always come back. Yeah, it was really special.
you mentioned that you saw Megan Hilty in Wicked. Are you a Smash fan?
Oh, I own both seasons on DVD physically.
Okay, we have to talk about this.
Obsessed.
Okay, Karen or Ivy? We might get a little controversial here.
Ivy.
Okay, honestly, me too. She worked so hard to get to where she was, and obviously,
Sue
Karen
me, she was
was
right for the
so
role.
yes, she was. She is a bombshell. Um, but I am obsessed with Smash.
Yes.
Season one or two, so different.
I really like to.
Me too. Wait, I was so nervous to say it. I love
No,
season.
yeah, I really like to.
Yeah, like there's that season two cast is stacked to the brim with Broadway
Yes.
stars.
Yes, I'm all for season 2.
Are you a Glee fan too?
Absolutely Glee fan. Yeah.
I met Kevin McHale last week, and my jaw hit the floor. Like those kind of
No,
like my thing. Like that's what
absolutely. Absolutely. No, that was like, I mean, I was like 11, 12, like seeing Smash and Glee and all these shows. And like I said, I was all the way out in California. So I was like, okay, like this is what New York, this is what performing's like.
I was 7 years old, sitting on the couch every Wednesday watching Glee, and I think it's the way I like. That is why I
Oh
am.
my God.
I love it. All right, so you grew up in Southern California. When was the first time you ever visited New York City? How old were you? Did you see any shows?
I was 11, and my brother, who I had mentioned, Adam, who's the actor, older actor, was doing the Jimmy Awards. And so the whole family went to New York, and I guess that was technically my first show I saw on Broadway, the Jimmy Awards. Um,
Obviously iconic.
and yeah, I was just like so. I was like an 11-year-old little theater kid with his family, just like, right, be cool, be cool. This is New York, like, and I saw my first show I saw on Broadway was Newsies, which was like
Oh,
huge for
wait.
me.
This is so crazy because every interview that I've done, everyone has mentioned Newsies. And I keep saying that it always
Really?
comes back to Newsies every time.
It
I
does.
love
It really does. I mean, for an 11-year-old, I was like, oh my God, all these boys are dancing. It was just like, it was like the most perfect Broadway show for me to see for the first, like, for that to be my first Broadway show. I was like, oh, this is making me feel.
How old were you when you realized this could be a career? Like, obviously, you said that your brother's an actor. What show made you want to pursue theater, something you were in?
So my first show I performed in at this community theater back home was Bye Bye Birdie. And I was so young and I was just like in the kids ensemble. Like it was like nothing. But I would say I did a chorus line my sophomore year of high school, which was directed by Krista Rodriguez, who was in the revival and is obviously a high school alumni. So that was a really, really special because I was like, oh, this is like the opportunity to learn and figure out if this is what I want to do because it's coming from like the top of the top. Like
Mhm.
for a high school sophomore year production, like this is it. And that really like sort of shifted like, oh, okay, I definitely want to do this for college and audition for college, for theater. And yeah, that was a really special show. I played Mark, who was like the young one, but yeah, we did the original choreography and learning from Krista, who had done the revival, was just like so special. And like I knew even back then that that was not the stereotypical typical high school theater scene experience, you know? Like I knew back then to like soak it all up.
You mentioned you went to an art school. Did you have to like audition to get in? What was that process like?
So it started at 7th grade, which is like, you know, is not traditional for a high school. Now they call it just Orange County School of the Arts because it starts so young. But there were about 13 different conservatories. You could go for a bunch of dance styles or music or film and television or culinary arts or musical theater. And so I auditioned for musical theater and I sang. I had to do like a little dance call. And then I sang, I think I sang A Whole New World.
That's so full
Um,
circle.
I know. I sang a little bit of A Whole New World from Aladdin. And yeah, and then I got in. And so it's like, you know, you do your school during the day, and then you have seventh block or block 7, which is just like free time or like do homework or whatever or chill. And then you do your conservatory classes, which is about like 2 classes a day. Oh,
Wow. That was so cool. You said that you did a chorus line. What other shows did you do in high school?
I did Children of Eden, which was really fun. And like, not a lot of people have done that, I thought it was a great show. I did a chorus line. We did, like I mentioned before, we did these like concert masterclass concerts, I guess. It was called Performing with the Pros. So Susan Egan came, Liz Calloway, Ali Stroker, which was really cool. What else did I do? I did Guys and Dolls a little that. You're in Town.
You did a lot.
I mean, like it was it was an art school. We like really did it. I mean, it literally was like victorious. It was like the culinary arts kids made the lunch, school lunch.
Really?
Yeah,
That's so funny.
would like do flash mob dances during lunch. Like you could decorate your locker artistically. Like it was like the stereotypical art school.
The way that would like stress me out a little bit.
It was certainly very overwhelming at times. Lots of personalities, lots of artistic people, but looking back now, I'm like, wow, like how unique.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
What an experience. Did they like offer like a college audition class?
Yeah, so like by like junior and senior year, you could like sort of pick. I mean, we took like stage makeup class, we took pop vocals, we took piano, we took voice and acting and dance, obviously. But around junior, senior year, it was like you could be in the class that was specifically geared towards college auditions if you knew you wanted to pursue after high school. And so I was in that class, and yeah, we had college auditions and showcases, master classes, and yeah, it was really, really helpful.
You ever see a part of your high school self in your performances now?
Most of my high school skills, because I'll be so honest with you, I look back on high school videos, and even though I did go to an art school, I'm like, oh, he was bad. It was bad. It was not great. But
Mhm.
the skills I learned about, like, you know, tech week and how to treat other people that work in the theater, like, just like maintenance and time management and being on time and being kind and learning everyone's names, like that is what I really learned in high school.
All right, so let's talk about the college audition process.
Yeah.
I love college auditions. I don't know what it is. I think I just really like high school theater and like that transition. And I need to know what song you sang in your college auditions or what songs you sang.
I sang It Don't Make Sense from Parade, and then I like switched it up like a little bit, but I think I sang, oh God, what did I sing? I think It's Wonderful from American in Paris.
Wow, very different.
Very different. And honestly, like, same with college too. I'm looking back, I'm like, oh God, I could have done that differently, could have sang this song instead. But I remember those being the two.
So why did you pick Pace? What other schools were you between? Was there something that stood out about the program that you were like, I need to go here?
So I auditioned for like 13 total, I believe. And I did Chicago Unifieds, mostly all of them at Chicago Unifieds, and then I did NYU and Pace on campus. And I was deciding between Syracuse and Pace. And after talking to people, I didn't go to Syracuse on campus, but I had been to Pace because my brother, who I had mentioned, was also an actor at Pace. So I had gotten to see Pace through him and the shows that he did there when I was, 14, 15, which was really helpful. And when I toured Pace and like stayed overnight and did the perspective weekend and everything, um, it's funny. I like stayed with two like the freshmen then the year above me who like housed me for the weekend in their dorm are now like my some of my best friends. So it's
Yeah.
funny back like I was a perspective staying in their dorm like, oh my God, these people are so cool. But like that's what it was. People were so cool. And like obviously everyone's talented. You hear that all the time, like there's talent everywhere, but like people really do want to work with and emphasize working with like people, real people with other outside hobbies, and can just like hold a conversation about theater that isn't so superficial. Like I felt like my gut instinct was to go to Pace
Yeah.
and be in New York.
Hmm. It's a gorgeous school. Like so pretty.
Yeah, and I knew it would be hard too because like being from California was a big adjustment. I had obviously visited New York before on trips, but to move there and do college adjustment at the same time, oh my God, I was like sick every weekend. My
Yeah.
body, like, getting adjusted to the East Coast, it was a big, big,
Mhm.
big change.
How did being in New York City positively and negatively affect you at the time?
Yeah, I mean, we'll start with the negative. Like I said, I truly was sick, like just so often. I remember freshman year for so many reasons, freshman year of college, and on top of it, moving to New York and budgeting. The city's expensive. That's no surprise to anyone. Um, so that, and like meeting other people from not Southern California arts world, I very much recognize that that was a bubble I was living in. And so to meet other people who didn't grow up the way I did, you learn and you listen and you learn a lot.
Because you were in New York City, were you like constantly auditioning?
Pace was really adamant about, because you're in New York, you're not just gonna come to Pace and then leave. So,
Mhm.
like you came to New York for school to be in school, which I also really appreciated because like a lot of people will just say they're going to school in New York and then they'll just bounce after a semester, which like teach their own truly. But I was like, I need to like get my shit together at Pace, even though it is in New York. I had the system where like freshman year, no outside auditions.
Mm-hmm.
Sophomore year, rare, like you would have to talk to the head of the program and talk to your professors and suss it out. And then junior year a little more, and then senior year, like go audition, go crazy.
You auditioned for Dearman Hanson your junior year, right? They brought people in for that.
Yes. So by the time I come to Pace freshman year, Evan Hansen had been open and running and won all the Tonys. And I didn't know that, but like they would go to like Michigan and fly out, but they would also come physically to Pace on campus. Same with NYU, I'm assuming, or any new school,
Mm-hmm.
just to hold auditions. And I knew that was happening when I got there, but for some reason I was just like, I'm not quite ready. I don't think I want to like, I don't know. I didn't want to make the
Yeah.
wrong impression, if that's the right.
Yeah, like yourself. Anyway.
Yeah, like I knew I wanted to like take my time and not just like go in and then not get it and go in and go in and go in. So I waited. And then what's funny is that literally the day before, I knew that they were coming, but for some reason, I don't know how the universe happened, but I did not get like, I wasn't getting the contact right at my appointment. Claire from Tara Rubin casting called me. I was like, hey, we've been sending you these emails. I don't know if we have the wrong email or whatever, but tomorrow is the audition at Pace. And I was like, oh, okay. So sorry. I don't know how this happened, but yes, I'll be there.
Mm-hmm.
And found out the night before I was going in. And so that honestly, I think helped me get out of my head and just be like, okay, it's now, you're going tomorrow and you're going to do something, you know? And so I auditioned at Pace, and then I honestly like 10 or something callbacks later, I got it. And I finished my first semester of junior year and took the second semester off.
I feel like it really showed who you were as a person because even though you were under pressure and stress from not getting the emails, you went in and you rocked it, and they saw that and they were probably like, oh, we need to continue.
Yeah. I mean, it was like such a weird time too. I was doing Amelie at Pace, and I remember honestly it was around this time of the year. Like I found out I got it, and then I went on Thanksgiving break to Seattle to visit my family. And then when I came back, I finished the first half of Amelie and then did double duty essentially of starting Evan Hansen rehearsals and finishing school for the semester. So I did that for about a month and a half, which just like was crazy. I learned a lot.
Because you were auditioning for Dearman Hansen and then you started rehearsing during college. Were your professors, along with the producers, understanding about your busy schedule and split time?
Yeah, that's a good question because I know some schools like it's not even possible or it's like really hard and but no, my professors were so understanding, so wonderful. They knew too that like this was such a special show and such a special job, you know, that they were just like go fly, go soar. Like I was in acting class and they like, let me go and it honestly worked out so that like basically for that month and a half that I had told you, I would rehearse in Midtown, like say like 10 to 3, Evan Hansen, and then I would take the train back down to Pace and then like go to Spanish class. Like I had to really like push through for the academic classes that I was in that semester. But yeah, it was like a lot of back and forth and until finals in December. And honestly, most of my Evan Hansen people at the time, like when I finished, I was like, oh, I finished finals. It's December and it's the holidays. And they're like, wait, you've been in school this whole time? And I was like, yeah, it's been kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, no idea. But yeah, they were so supportive. And obviously Evan Hansen, because this was after they had cast Andrew Barth Feldman. So they knew what it was like to work with younger people and their schedules they need. So that was helpful too.
Did you get like class credit for going to rehearsal? Like, was that like a thing?
Low key, yeah. Like, yeah. Um,
Mhm.
so like I said, I had taken off that spring semester junior year. So obviously I was in Evan Hansen until March 2020. That was March. And then we shut down, but then I went back to school that fall. It was so my senior year was like the first COVID year, and there was this really cool class, I guess, or program you could take. I forget the name of it honestly, but essentially you make a portfolio to submit to the deans to get approved, and you get, I think it's 15 or 20 or something, a good amount of credits approved and waived and signed off, basically applying what your outside work was to get those classes done. So that's how I was able to get my year and a half done in a year, through that class, which was like, so that was just like, thank God that existed, because I don't know if I would have gone back to school if COVID didn't happen.
Mhm.
So the fact
Yeah.
that I do and get it done on time, quote unquote, and then go back to Evan Hansen when we relaunched, like it just worked out perfectly. They were so understanding, like Pace was, and I got it all done and I got my degree.
Let's talk about German Hansen. I am a huge fan of that show. German Hansen is a very emotional show, as we all know. And because you were an understudy for Evan, Connor, and Jared, how did you mentally and physically prepare to step into such an emotionally intense role in so many different capacities? Because those three roles are so different yet so similar.
That was, thank God I had the time from November of 2019 to March 2020, because I didn't debut until January of 2022.
Mm.
So obviously we started rehearsals with Evan because it was just the biggest part of the show. And once you have Evan under your belt and in your brain, it's sort of easy to fill in the others. It was really, really hard to, like, he doesn't leave the stage at all. So Evan starting first was honestly really helpful. And then, yeah, Jared, I honestly didn't really do Connor at all. Like, I technically covered him, but I didn't ever really rehearse him or anything. So it was mostly Evan and Jared. Jared is low key really stressful. Different stress than Evan, of course, because Evan, once you start, you just start and you go. You know, there's no break. You're on stage the whole time, which has its own struggles and stuff. But is something to say though about Jared, for like, he's running stage in the dark, and then he's up, and then he's shouting his scenes out into the void with
Mhm.
this and a backpack, and then you run off, and then you change by yourself. Like Evan Hansen, like even in the scenes and backstage when you're changing, there's the dresser and you have the family with you, but Jared's kind of just like on his own. So that was a lot.
I want to hear about the day you made your Broadway debut. You were an understudy, so did you know that it was happening on that day? Like, how far of a notice did you get?
Nope. I it was a two-show day. It was a matinee. I'm assuming it's a Wednesday, or it was a Saturday, maybe. I don't know. January 22nd, you can find it. But found out maybe around 10 a.m. And I was in my bathroom, like over my bathroom sink, and my stage manager calls me. And obviously, like I had said, I had waited a long time from November 2019, essentially, when I joined Evan Hansen, to actually make my debut. And I'm a pretty impatient person already, so
Me too.
that taught a lot about patience. But the day had finally come, and Judy, our stage manager, called me and said, "So, would you like to make your Broadway debut today at the matinee as Evan?" I'm like over my like bathroom sink, just like freaking out. I I call everyone I need to call, and my friend, my dear friend Zach Kaiser,
Mhm.
who was Evan, who was going on, he was going to be the matinee, and then he ended up doing the night show. He was the sweetest and knew how special this was, and he helped me organize tickets, and doing everything that I needed help with.
Hmm.
And I got to the theater early. I made sure I ate something, you know, and I was so, so lucky. Obviously, my parents couldn't fly out from California um, for the 2 p.m. matinee, but my brother and my aunt and my college friends, and honestly, everyone that I ever thought could be there on my debut was there. It was so sweet. It was honestly like the most perfect debut, especially because in a show like Evan Hansen, it was rare that they had the cover debut in a role as big as Evan. So I was very lucky that my debut was Evan. So that was really, really special. It was like honestly still like one of the best days of my life. I have my cast from it and I have, all the stuff.
And then you went on tour.
Mm-hmm.
Were there any specific lines that you felt performed differently in a tour audience than a Broadway audience? Because honestly, they're very different.
I only did the tour very briefly. It was obviously post COVID when we had relaunched. They would ask some of the covers from Broadway to go out just as COVID coverage for a tour. So I was out there for 3 weeks, and I never went on. But I was obviously watching the show there because it was different. With touring houses, they are much bigger. You're not changing the integrity of your acting, but you do have to display a little more because you have people like literally half a mile away seeing you, especially in this really intimate show. Um, yeah, I learned just like the differences between Broadway and tour and how to tour, even if it was just for 3 weeks. But yeah.
Yeah. Which becomes very important in your life
Mhm.
soon. But we're going to get there.
Yeah, yeah.
We have to make our way there first.
Right.
We now have to talk about Once Upon it one more time.
Yeah.
Were you just freaking out when you got that? Like, did you get a call or email?
I got a FaceTime from my agent. I also was surprisingly in my bathroom sink.
You should just stay in your bathroom like for the
I
rest
know, right?
of your life.
No real. He called me and was like, how do you want to be on Broadway again? And I was like, whoa. And honestly, that one really was special too because I booked Evan Hansen November 2019, and this was February of 2023.
Mhm.
So a good amount of time has passed. I had been very lucky and done other stuff in between, but I don't know. There was a weird part of me that was like, oh, like I wonder if Evan Hansen will just be like, because you never know if you're going to be on Broadway.
Yeah. Hmm.
You never know if you're lucky enough to get on Broadway at all.
Yeah.
The fact that it happened again and it was an original show and it was completely different from Evan Hansen, I was just so, so excited.
Yeah. And your brother was in
Yes,
the town tryout, right?
the first reading.
So did you like kind of talk to him about the whole show before going in? Like, was that a process to find your character?
Oh yeah, yeah. He was in, or he read for one of the princes, like ensemble princes. Obviously, it was a different vibe back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, he helped me like figure out like what the vibe was of the show, and yeah, yeah. And I
Wow.
was there, and when I told him, he was like freaking out.
You originated the role of Clumsy on Broadway. What did you find difficult about originating a role on Broadway?
Oh God, it's so mental. Because like Evan Hansen, I obviously replaced, and I had replaced in other shows before, but it's something I don't know. You get in your head a little bit, honestly, about okay, well, no one's really done this before, and it can be whatever I essentially want it to be. Obviously, within the realms of the show and the creative team, but like it's up to you to like make your stamp and make your mark on it, and like you can't be waiting around asking permission from all these departments about it. You just kind of gotta do it, which I found really challenging, especially as someone who like just wants to do good and please others. When it's all you originating it, it's like no, I actually can like decide with small aspects of it.
Mm-hmm. But I feel like that must have been a little freeing too.
Totally. Once we were open and the show was frozen, I was like, oh my God, that like, yeah, I get to make choices and actually play. Like you hear about it all the time, but I really was able to like just have fun.
Yeah. Wow. Was it hard to transition into this schedule after coming from Dear Evan Hansen?
Yeah, because that was my first. Well, I did in between Evan Hansen and Once Upon, I did a show called Griswold's Broadway Vacation, and that one I was on stage for.
Hmm.
So I got a little bit of that doing that 8 times a week, and then obviously Once Upon doing it 8 times a week. It was no joke, especially because it was such a physical show too. Evan
Hmm.
Hansen too, but in a different way, than obviously Keone and Mari dancing.
Yeah.
That choreography was crazy and amazing. Yeah, you had to take care of yourself.
Let's go back to Griswold's Broadway Vacation. So you did the out of town tryout in Seattle,
Yes,
which you said you had family. Did you like feel at home? Like, were you more comfortable knowing that it was somewhere where you've been before other than a new city?
totally. I love Seattle. I love the West Coast, and my oldest brother, his wife is up there. And yeah, I have all my family from California some who can't quite fly out all the time to see me in New York. They were able to see that, which was really
Oh,
nice.
are you still doing, like, are you still working with that show?
Yes, we just did another workshop of it these past 3 weeks. We just finished on Friday. So we'll see. But yeah, it's fun to do new stuff.
That must be so fun to like keep going back and seeing the way that show has been like changing over time.
Yeah, I mean, you also realize and you get the perspective too of how long it takes, for a musical to grow and change and take the time to grow and change.
Let's go back to Once Upon a Time. So this is a very hilarious musical with a lot of physicality. How did you balance physical comedy and keeping the character real for the audience?
Good question. Definitely in rehearsals, I was figuring that out for sure, especially because I wasn't in the out of town of Once Upon a One More Time, so a majority of the cast had been in the show. And there were a handful of people who are new to Broadway, but I was one of them. And think about the show, like, yes, there was other physical comedy involved, like Jen Samard, and the choreography itself was very physical and demanding, but Clumsy was kind of in its own world physically. So I really just had to like go big or go home with all of it. And a lot of it I did find like with those like set transitions. Clumsy puts down a table and picks up a stool, but then it's like, okay, that's the only thing happening on stage in this transitional moment. Like, how can I make it a part of the character and interesting to watch? Yeah.
Once Upon a One More Time, if people don't know, is a musical based off of the Disney princess stories filled with a Britney Spears score. If you could add a surprise cameo of your favorite Disney character where they could sing any Britney Spears song, who would it be and what would they sing?
Any Disney character?
Your favorite Disney character.
I want Lilo to like
Oh,
go.
good choice.
I want Lilo to give a little Britney. She
And
could.
what is Lilo singing?
She's singing like overprotected.
Okay, that's good.
Wants to get out. She wants to like break free.
Lilo's ready.
Lilo is ready. I think she is.
Get Lilo on stage
Yeah.
tomorrow. Bring Once Upon a One More Time, revive it just for Lilo.
For Lilo. Yes.
That's a great answer. And if Clumsy had to sing one Britney Spears song of your choice that incorporates his own personality, what is Clumsy singing?
Give me more.
That's like the ultimate Britney Spears song. Like, I just want to dance. All right, so now we're going to talk about Aladdin.
Yeah.
Spectacle after spectacle, truly. So you played Omar, which I feel like in the movie is like not as like out there as the musical.
Yeah. So in the movie, they originally had Omar, Babcock, and Kasim, Aladdin's friends, and then they scrapped it, did Abu the monkey for the movie, and then all these years later, when they were doing the musical, they brought them back for a show that is so well known around the world and people's childhood. It's like, but we're new to it
Yeah.
too. There's no preconceived notions about what we are, or no expectations really set.
And everybody has seen Aladdin, so it's just like a new character.
Yeah.
Omar is such a lovable character on stage. What is your favorite thing about him, and how did you make the quality come to life in your own way?
My favorite thing about Omar is his heart, because out of the four of us, Aladdin, Babcock, Omar, and Kasim, he is like the voice of reason to the group of friends. Like, he listens to everyone's perspectives. He really weighs out the pros and cons of the best, what's best for us in the group, and he leads with his heart, which I think is really special and
Mhm.
inviting for the audience.
How is like being in a Disney like produced show so different from everything else? Like, was it different or was it like very similar?
Yeah, very different. I mean, Disney theatrical is great, and they've clearly had a great track record on Broadway with their shows. And this show in particular, like we said, everyone knows it and loves it and has such a deep connection to the movie that when they come to see the show, even 10 years after it's opened, they're still leaning in, and they're still enthralled by like the magic of Broadway. There was a magic to the story on screen in the movie, of course, and Robin Williams and the magic of all that, but when you see it live on stage, it still holds up, which I think is really special.
And you had a really interesting audition process because the choreographer of Dearborn Hanson was behind the table, right?
Yes, I worked with Jen Riez in Evan Hansen. She was the associate choreographer, and then all these years later, she was in the original company of Aladdin and now has turned to the creative side, which is amazing. I auditioned for that, and I saw her, and we did the dance call, and it was just like, when you work with good people, they're good people, and they want to work with good people. So it was great to work with her again.
That's been like such a breath of like a weight lifted off your shoulders, seeing somebody you know behind the table who knows you too, who can like advocate for you in a way.
Totally. The dance call too. It was like a small group of us, but like knowing it was Jen, it's just like those are moments that do hit you of like, oh, like it's nice that I get to feel a sense of comfort in these auditions.
So you went on tour with Aladdin and you did the Broadway production.
Mhm.
How is touring with a huge show such as Aladdin so different than touring with a smaller show like Dearborn Hanson?
Well, even just the size. I mean, the Aladdin tour had about, I don't know, 10 or 11 trucks of just a set, and it's such a big show. And they even on Broadway, it's huge, and that's what it is because it stays there. But on tour, when you're moving it, they truncated it down a lot. So we still had like the magic and stuff, but it was a different show. But Evan Hansen, it's very stripped down, it's very bare bones, um, and a smaller cast too. So Aladdin, there was a lot. I just remember being on tour, being like, oh wow, even on tour, this is a lot of people, it's a lot of set, it's a lot of costumes, a lot of moving parts.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. And a fun question, if Omar could have one magical wish from the genie, what do you think he would wish for?
Some peace and quiet. His friends, they all are thieves and they live together, but like he just wants everyone to get along. Yeah, peace and quiet.
All right, so let's talk about Anne Juliet. I am so excited for you.
Thank you. I'm very, very excited.
So you must be freaking out. So you're going in for François Deba, the most fun name ever.
Yes.
So you're making your Anne Juliet debut on November 19th. Is there a specific number or moment in the show that you were excited for audiences to see you in?
Really excited to do I Kissed a Girl, because like to sing Katy Perry on Broadway like that in the context of the story is great. I also love Confident. Honestly, all of it, all of it.
And so many new cast members are coming in with you. Like, how has that been a different process?
It's weird because I am doing Aladdin. They all are coming in on Tuesday. They all
Mhm.
come together, and so I start rehearsals on Tuesday. So I'm joining with them, but I'm really not. I'm joining delayed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been cool to like just be a part of you know, a new chapter of the show.
Yeah, iconic people like you, Liam, Charlie D'Amelio.
Yeah, Charlie and all these new people. And
I saw the original cast. I'm so excited to see the way you guys changed these rules in your own way.
yeah, I'm excited. Me and Liam and Charlie and other new cast members saw on Friday Allison Love debut.
I saw her in The Waitress. Like,
It's crazy. She's so good.
have you started preparing for the role? What have you been doing? What has been
But
different preparing for other roles?
yeah, so I found out I got in Juliet September 19th. So I've been doing Aladdin this whole time still. And like we said, double duty. I'm gonna start double duty again on Tuesday for 3 weeks. Um, yeah, it's just been like maintaining and prioritizing like my health, making sure I don't get sick, making sure I'm taking care of my mental health. I like I said, I haven't started rehearsals yet, but I've been listening to songs and I've been reading the script and um yeah, I'm just excited to like get on its feet, you know.
Did you find out in the bathroom?
No, this time I did not find out in the bathroom. I should have. No, I found out right here in my room actually.
You should have like saw the call and just ran into the bathroom.
No, I know I should have.
So funny. So you portrayed some iconic characters on Broadway, from Jared, Connor, and Evan, and German Hanson, to Clumsy and Once Upon a One More Time, to Omer and Aladdin. What's something you've learned from each of those roles that you could see yourself bringing to Francois?
When I look back at like what I've done so far, I'm still kind of astounded, but looking at all those characters, it's like they all have an open heart, I think, or at least to, and they're all trying to, you know, find be a little bit more confident. Wink, wink. Uh, yeah, just like a really endearing, genuine, pure, open-hearted character.
If you could add any other Max Martin hit to Francois' story, what would you pick?
Ooh. Either an Ariana Grande song
Mhm.
or like because I did Once Upon a More Time and sang Britney Spears on Broadway, but and here I'm singing Britney Spears again, but I'm singing the song that wasn't in Once Upon. Maybe
Uh-huh.
a Britney Spears song in Once Upon in here.
If Francois could sing a duet with any of your previous characters, who would it be and what song are they singing?
Oh, Francois and like I don't know if it's Evan or Jared because Francois is nerdy like Jared. But
Hmm.
yeah, I'm gonna say Jared.
Okay, what are they singing?
They're singing like a good for you overprotected mashup.
Oh,
Nerdy angst.
that's so cool. I need.
That's
We're
that's
getting that produced. That's
yeah,
going on by tomorrow.
that's what's coming to me right now.
No, that's amazing. All right, last question before our rapid fire round. You've had the opportunity to work on some of Broadway's biggest productions and spectacles. How has your understanding of the industry changed over time from those experiences?
Oh wow. Um I've been so lucky. I mean it still kind of goes back to like when I first started theater, same principles. It's like don't be an asshole. No one wants to work with an asshole or a diva. Be work hard. The business will get businessy and gross and weird at times, but just remember that that's not why. Like no one came into theater for that, or at
Mhm.
least I didn't. You know, and it's a different situation, but like remember that we literally are here at the end of the day for a song and dance. You know, but to doing it to make other people feel and think and question and yeah, and like taking it day by day. Nothing
Mhm.
guaranteed. Nothing should be expected.
That was incredible. You rocked that. It's time for the rapid fire questions. Here we go. What is your favorite audition song?
It don't make sense from Parade.
Oh, your college audition song. Do you still use it?
No, but I did love.
What's your go-to audition song now?
Miracle of Miracles from Fiddler on the Roof,
Oh my God, wait, your book must be like stacked.
or Drops of Jupiter, or like Under Pressure.
What's your go-to snack when you're backstage during a show?
A sour, chewy gummy something candy. I love a sour gummy.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so good for your voice.
Yeah.
What's a dream role that you can never see yourself playing?
T-Moon and Once on This Island.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Yeah.
I love that. Did you see the revival?
Like 6 times, yeah.
It was so good. I wish I could see it like tomorrow. Like it's just incredible. I love that show. If you could revive any show and star in it, what would it be and what role are you playing?
Ooh. Revive Urinetown. I like to be Bobby Strong.
What's your go-to warm-up song?
Honestly, the song that I'll be singing in the show.
What's a musical theater song that's always stuck in your head?
Well, currently, randomly, like Gatsby.
Mm-hmm.
The
Me
music is really gorgeous.
Uh-huh.
Any song that like they just sing. And,
Mm-hmm. Such a good. I love that. I think that might have been one of my favorite shows last season. It was so good, and it hasn't gotten the hype that it deserves yet. I'm still waiting.
I know.
I'm waiting. Such a good show. I feel like the last 5 years has just been in my head forever.
So great. Yeah, just great music.
Yes. Who is the coolest person you've ever met backstage at a show?
I met Zendaya and Jacob Elordi backstage at Evan Hansen before COVID. Enough said.
I feel like Jeremy Hansen had like the coolest people come back.
Tan France was cool too from Queer Eye.
I would freak out.
Yeah, but Zendaya and Jacob Elordi.
Yeah. If you could switch roles with anyone in any show you have done, what role would you play?
Heidi in Dear Evan Hansen or Juliet.
Those are two great answers.
I want to play like a
Could be like an April Fool's like debut.
Yeah.
What is the hardest song you've ever had to sing on stage?
It's Words Fail. It's mentally frustrating because on your own, just on my own, you could sing it and I could sing it fine. But it's after doing the entire show and it's at the very end, you're screaming and you're yelling and you're crying and sweating. Then you have to sing that song. It's like, oh.
It's just such a gorgeous song now.
Yeah.
If you could sing a duet with anyone in the world, who would it be? And what song are you singing?
Anyone?
Anyone.
Right now, currently, I would really like to sing with Remy Wolf, I think.
Yeah. What
song? Oh, something slow and sad and emotional and acoustic. I don't know. Dancing with a Stranger.
Ooh, good song. If you could be in any original Broadway cast, what cast would it be?
I really do think it would be so special if I was in like the original chorus line or like Wicked. Imagine just looking back on that and being like, wow, we changed musical theater history.
You won.
I won.
You win a huge prize of bragging rights. Yes. So thank you so much for being here. You can catch and Juliet November 19th at the Sondheim Theater.
Yes.
I'm so excited to watch you rock that stage.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much.